Hey guys, thanks for joining me again on another one of our real estate vlogs. And just want to remind you who we are. I'm Billy Epperhart, and I also want you to know we have a real passion to help kingdom-minded entrepreneurs and investors make sense of making money for making a difference. And that's really what God's called us to do. And so as we're talking about real estate, we're talking about how you do things. In other words, how do I approach my real estate business? How do I learn to make money in real estate? So we've been sharing with you 14 mistakes every investor makes. Just want to point out, we also have some extras we're going to give you here in this vlog series. But right now we're talking about the 14. We've covered 6 so far. And today we're going to start with number 7. And as you see, that number 7 right there is failing to establish multiple sources of financing. One of the biggest things that people do not understand about real estate really is as much about financing as it is about any other part of business that you could do. And so it doesn't matter what business you would go into, money's always a big deal, but in real estate it's crucial. And here's one reason why, is because you got to remember that you really make money in real estate because of leverage. Now, I've owned many properties that are paid off, that are debt-free. However, I want you to know the biggest money I ever made and the most money I ever made is when those properties were leveraged. That means they had debt on the properties. And the reason that I say that to you is because you take, for example, you take $10,000 and put it down on a $100,000 house, right? Then that $100,000 house, let's say we have a good year. In fact, here in Denver, we did last year. Right here, I'm recording this in Denver, and in Denver we had appreciation of properties that was 12% last year in 1 year. Well, 12% on a $100,000 property is $12,000. $12,000 is 100% return on 120% return on a $10,000 down payment. Wow, 120% per annum. Think about it. And you say, so the point is real estate's really about financing. In other words, you have to understand that. So if you do, then remember this, that one of the things that people do is they fail to establish multiple sources of getting financing. So for example, let's talk about mortgages first. Typically where we've been in the current environment is you can't have more than 4 mortgages in your name. Now, if you're married, your wife can have 4, and you can have 4, so you could do a total of 8 properties. Now, I've just heard recently from some pretty well established mortgage brokers that Fannie and Fannie, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, I got my brain there for a second, have just kind of loosened the policies up some, and they're actually allowing some buyers to buy 10 mortgages. And so what that means is you could buy, if you're married, your spouse can buy 10 properties in their name. You can buy 10 properties in your name. You can get 20 properties. So one of the things you have to understand is that you'll have to verify in your area exactly what the limits, whether it's 4 mortgages per person or 10 mortgages, or somewhere in between. You'll have to find out in your area. But, you know, Freddie and Fannie are national, so that means it would apply to basically any state except where specific laws wouldn't allow certain things. So here's what I want to say to you. Make sure you're finding at least 2 to 3 mortgage brokers that will work with you. Mortgage brokers are loan officers. Mortgage broker is typically someone that's in a mortgage brokerage shop, and a loan officer is typically someone that's in a bank. In fact, I'll tell you something that's worth the price of the ticket and give you a nugget. You want a nugget? Here's a nugget. One of the nuggets is that you got to understand that most loan officers in banks, when they're lending you money on a property, they're not doing any different than what a mortgage broker would do. They're not doing you any favors. They're simply underwriting that loan based on the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac criteria and rules. They have a piece of software, it's an underwriting software that they literally use to do kind of a pre-qualification. And you say, and the point is when you go to most banks, it's about the fact that they're writing the same as a mortgage broker. Counts against you the same unless you do what I tell you about here in a minute and get a portfolio loan. So find 2 to 3 mortgage bankers or brokers, excuse me, that can work with you, or loan officers, and that'll get you the mortgages under Freddie and Fannie, and then 2 to 3 bankers. And so we say that try to find at least 2 banks that are interested in lending on real estate. And I want you to hear me now about what regarding what I'm about to say, if I can talk here. And that is this: that what happens is most banks, when you walk in, you have to say to them, once you get up to your limit of properties, let's say right now it's 4 and 4, that'd be 8 properties or 4 properties for you. You have to say, look, I have 4 properties, so what I'm looking for is a loan that you would loan me out of your own funds here in the bank and service the loan in the bank. They're not selling the paper to Freddie and Fannie. In other words, they're not selling that loan, they're holding that loan in the bank. If they'll do that, and which many of them will, then you're not limited to the number of properties. Then what they do is most loan officers will limit you to like $500,000, maybe $1 million total. Some will go all the way up to $2 million. They'll loan you on properties. Now, it's going to take you a while to get that established. But I've had people tell me in seminars, I did one recently, somebody said, you can't do that. And I had the president of a pretty good bank stand up and say what he's saying is exactly right. And everybody in the seminar, about 150 people, went, wow. And so the reason I'm sharing that with you is make sure you find a couple of banks, 2 to 3, at least 2, that will help you in that. And so, and then they will start loaning you based on your business, not just on your credit score. In other words, your credit score will matter, but they will look at how well is he running his business, does he know what he's doing in real estate, and then they feel safe because they're going to lend you based on their what's called loan to value criteria, based on the appraisal, et cetera, of the house. And then the last thing I want to say on failing to establish multiple sources of financing, especially at the mortgage level, is really important that you know your credit score. And so make sure you're managing your credit score in a positive way. We'll tell you in some other videos how to do that, but just make sure in this one that you know how to do it. So do this for me if you would. Would you please, first of all, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section, but also make sure that you like it or you share it and comment. And let's say, for example, you don't have a question. I would appreciate you saying, hey, Billy, I'm here, just to let me know you're watching. So I appreciate you commenting and liking. And I want you to know that I really appreciate you tuning into the vlog. And we'll see you right here again in another week or so with another real estate vlog.